Hi, everybody. This is Tanya from Tango Business Coaching, and we are on day 21 of the 30-day leadership challenge. And today we are going to talk about crucial conversations. So, I really believe that one of the most powerful and influential books is Crucial Conversations. This is it here. So by Patterson, Grenny, McMillan, and Switzler. So I think it was about 2002 when it was first introduced. But the idea behind this book is that we have daily conversations with all kinds of people in our lives that can affect our lives, and they become crucial when three things happen: when the opinions vary significantly between the parties involved, when the stakes are high, and all of that generates a high emotional charge. The intersection of these three pieces make it a crucial conversation. And in the workplace, if you don't know how to lead through those kinds of crucial conversations, you can imagine what happens, right? It leads in frustration, it leads in conflict, it leads to poor workplace culture, loss of productivity, loss of efficiency, and just like total underperformance, right? So in a leadership role, these kinds of conversations actually come up all the time, right? More times than not, people actually do two things, right? Either they avoid the conversation totally. And when that happens, that means resentment goes on and so on and so forth. Negative emotions, they just hold on. People become bitter and angry, so on and so forth, right? The second thing they try to do is actually try to have the conversation, but because emotions are high, it usually doesn't go well and it turns into aggression or passive aggressiveness or whatever. So either of those two approaches are actually not really great and diminishes trust in the workplace and your workplace culture and all those other things I mentioned before. So the best way is to actually tackle the conversation in the best way that you possibly can, which is exactly the method they teach in this book. So in order to prepare for a crucial conversation, there are 7 steps. So I guess before you even get into that, you have to actually know that you're entering into a crucial conversation. So likely in advance, you expect that opinions will vary. You already know that the other party you need to have a conversation with has a different opinion about the subject matter than you do. The stakes will likely be high. So it's probably going to be about something that impacts you or the other person, maybe personally or professionally. So in a leadership role, it could be achieving the goals in your department. It could be getting a certain result. It could be something about retaining staff, which is a big priority right now. And then, of course, the third component is when emotions are running strong. So because of these other two things, often people can get triggered. And when we talk about emotions running strong, we mean usually negative emotions. We're not really worried about people getting overly happy or overly excited. It's more somebody getting frustrated, angry, anxious, frustrated, those kinds of negative emotions. So once you anticipate all of that's going to happen, you're going into a crucial conversation. There's 7 things that they talk about in this book to consider when you're in a crucial conversation. So the first thing is they call it start from the heart. So, but that's really just getting clear on what do you want? What do you want for yourself? What do you want for the other person? What do you want for your relationship? And just as importantly, what don't you want for those things? What don't you want for yourself? What don't you want for the other person? And what don't you want for the relationship? And what corresponding behaviors might lead to one path or the other? So, considering it in advance so that when you're in the conversation, when that behavior shows up, you might be going down one path or the other path. So, really preparing yourself so you can create awareness in advance before you get in the conversation. That's the first piece. The second piece is to learn to look. So pay attention to the moment in the conversation once it becomes crucial. So what's happening as it's becoming crucial? Are you noticing emotions in the other party? Are you noticing it in yourself? What happens to yourself when you become stressed? Again, what behaviors do you need to pay attention to and look at and adjust? The third piece is to make it safe. So if something goes sideways, apologize if that's necessary. Find a way to establish mutual purpose in the conversation rather than fighting about the thing or arguing about the subject matter. Finding a way to come at it in a way that creates mutual understanding and mutual respect. And of course, in the book, they have all kinds of little like tips and tricks on all of this. It's just a bit much to get into here. But the fourth thing is to master your story. So often we go into these conversations, we go in with preconceived notions, we go in with already like limiting beliefs as to what we think or is actually going to happen, assumptions that we have. So check it in the moment. What am I telling myself right now that's true? What am I telling myself that is not factual? And really understand and get honest with yourself about what is factual versus what isn't factual. What assumptions are you bringing into this? The fifth step is to state your path, and state is an acronym in this case. So ask, share the facts. So back to the facts. What are the facts? T is tell your story about the subject matter. A, ask for their path. Ask for the other person's path regarding this particular subject. Talk tentatively. Be mindful of what you're saying. Take your time when you're having this conversation and encourage testing. And then that leads into the sixth step, which is explore others' paths. So once you learn a little bit more, take time to actually engage with their ideas and their other view and their viewpoint. Agree on what you can. Maybe build on the idea. Compare that to the current options. This is an innovation practice, isn't it? So the seventh step is to move into action. So decide together how you're actually going to decide. How will you make a decision around this? Document whatever decisions you make, and then create accountability, follow up, and do all of those things that are necessary. So I recognize that's a really quick way of going over it. For today's challenge, what I would actually really love for everybody to do is to read the book. Read the book. It is fabulous. There are all kinds of Coles Notes versions out there online. So at the minimum, just do a bit of research on that. I just can't do it justice here, but it is, I would say, a really good foundational tool to bring into your leadership style. The second thing I can encourage you to do is actually head over to their website. They do have an assessment there that tells you what your style is when you're under stress. I will put the link in the comments because it's a bit much to reiterate here. So those are two things. Do some research on this topic and head on over and do the assessment. Of course, take an action, right? Find a conversation that you can practice this style in. Maybe it's not something that is as deeply high stakes as they typically would talk about. Maybe it's something a little easier. By the way, this works in your whole life. It doesn't just work at work, it works everywhere. Crucial conversations happen in every single part of your life, so you can try it out everywhere. So I encourage you to do your best with this book. It's a fantastic book, and the methodology is quite amazing if you can figure out how to master it. So that's a complete endorsement on this one. So good luck. Let me know how it goes. I'm really interested in anything, any comments or any feedback you have. As always, if you need that 30-day challenge tracker, let me know. Happy to send that over to you. So good luck today, and I will see you here tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.